Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jaya and today I am going to be filming a project that has honestly been 3 months in the making, and I'm really excited to share it with you all because today I'm going to be filming the Ted Lasso Book Tag. You guys have no idea how excited I am that this tag is finally making it into the world. And yeah, I can't believe that it's actually here. It's a real thing. The questions are written, and now all that's left to do is film the video. So I really hope you guys enjoy this one. It is definitely my biggest project to date, and yeah. So just a little disclaimer before the video actually begins. This tag will include, well, it will include spoilers for Ted Lasso Season 1 and the second season as well. So just a prior warning, if you have not seen the show and you intend to see it, maybe give this video a miss because it will spoil some pretty key moments. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So the tag is made up of 10 questions, all will be in the description down below. So if you guys want to do this tag, then absolutely feel free. I want this tag to reach as many people as is possible because, as we all know, I love the show very dearly and I love combining my passions. So my favorite TV show and books. So yeah, feel free to use this tag, interpret it as you will. The book that I've selected for this prompt is Secret Daughter by Shilpi Somayagowda, and that is because maybe about a quarter into the book, our main character Summer is in India, and as an American girl who grew up the American way, this is a very foreign way of living to her, and the way that Shilpi Somayagowda writes that makes it very obvious that this is a very different world, and that perfectly mirrors Ted's experience in England, in my opinion.
I'll tell you what's wrong with you. All right, now, here we go. You fucked him up. Whoa. Okay. Found. You've made him a team player. You've got him to pass and shit. And in doing so, you've made him average. Because Jaime, deep down, at your core, you are a prick. So just be a prick.
So obviously the second prompt is based on "You are a prick, so just be one" scene found in Ted Lasso Season 2 when our lovable but also hateable character Jamie Tart goes up to Roy Kent and is practically begging him on how to be a better player, and Roy Kent replies with, "You are just a prick, so be one." So this prompt is, name a character that is such a prick but you cannot help but love them. And for this prompt I have selected none other than our very favourite Will Herondale. Specifically Will Herondale from the Clockwork Angel and Infernal Devices era. I know a lot of people hated Will because he's like a douchebag and all that stuff, but I can't help but love him. Maybe it's because I love the Herondales, I don't know, but Will Herondale will always have a place in my heart. So that is why I have selected him as the Jamie Tart character for this tag. Prompt 3. Roy and Keeley. Man, is there a lot to say about Roy and Keeley? Absolutely. Am I going to ramble on? Absolutely not, because this video is going to be long enough as it is. But if it wasn't obvious, Roy and Keeley are my absolute favourite romantic couple to come out of Ted Lasso Season 2. It's just, yes. But anyway. Name a book with a romance that you absolutely fell head over heels for. And for this, it's actually quite a recent read. I read it in the last, I finished it in the last 2 days, and that is A Love-Hate Thing by Whitney D. Grandison. Nandy and Trice's romance. Holy, I loved it so much. Yes, yes, yes. It has enemies to lovers, but also boy next door and like best friend trope all mixed into one beautiful romance. And one of the synopsis review things is, if you love a good enemies to lovers trope, run, don't walk to the nearest bookstore or library near you. And that is absolutely true. If you love that type of stuff, pick this book up. It is incredible. And yeah, I love the romance. I love that it was like slow burn, but also like fast paced at the same time. And it's just everything I need in romance. So in season 2 of Ted Lasso, we come to realize that Nate the Great wasn't actually that great. So yeah, I am still really, really annoyed about that because I loved Nate in season 1, and just to see him fall so far, it's just it does actually break my heart. But Nate the Great. Name a book with a twist villain so good that it caught you off guard. And for this, I'm going to be going with The Family Next Door by Sally Hepworth. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a thriller and I don't want to spoil anything, but I just remember reading this, and when the villain or antagonist of this story was revealed, I gasped out loud. Yeah, this was a really good thriller. You should read it if you haven't already.
Coach, I'm sorry. You know what the happiest animal on earth is? Goldfish. You know why? Oh no. Got a 10-second memory. Be a goldfish, Sam.
One of the main things that Ted says throughout the show is be a goldfish, which basically means if they had a loss, they just need to forget about it and move on. And it's actually something that I've taken into my life. As you know, senior year has unfortunately come upon me, and it is definitely quite a stressful time, but I've decided to be a goldfish. Things happen. Will it matter in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Probably not. So just be a goldfish, live life as each day comes. But anyway, name a book that you've read but completely forgotten the entire plot. And for that, I have selected, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, The Gentleman's Guide for Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. The only thing I remember about this book is that it made me cry. That's it. Oh, and that Monty's bisexual. That's it. So, yeah, maybe it's time for a reread. So, I'm a massive, massive fan of Mumford and Sons. And when I found out that they were doing the music for Ted Lasso, I just fell in love with the show even more. But anyway, one of the songs that was played in Ted Lasso was Forever, which is on their Delta album. If you have not listened to it, please listen to it. The song link will be in the description. I highly recommend it. It's such a beautiful song, and it's just, I love folk, but like it combines folk and orchestral, and it's just, oh, so beautiful. Name a book that took some time to get into, but once you got into it, it became an absolute favorite. I did actually struggle to find a book to fulfill this prompt, but I did come up with what was one of my favorite books of last year, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. What isn't there to say about this book? It made me laugh. It made me cry a lot, but it took a really long time to get into. But once I was in it, oh my goodness, what a ride it was. And I did not want it to end, and I invested myself in the Tom Hardy adaptation, and I just, I love this book so much. Please read it if you have not read it. It's so, so good. One of the things I loved most about Ted Lasso was how it dealt with mental health in athletes and just like in normal people so beautifully, but also balanced it with humor and love and laughter. So, and one of my favorite quotes to come out of the show was actually, "The truth will set you free, but first it will really piss you off." I quote this daily, and it just came at the perfect time, if I'm being honest, because it absolutely is true. The truth will set you free, but first it will definitely piss you off. So, without context, it doesn't really seem like a mental health thing, but if you watch the show, then you definitely know what I'm talking about. Anyway, name a book that has really good mental health representation. For this prompt, I've got two books actually. The first is Words in Deep Blue by Kath Crowley. This book covers the topic of grief, anxiety, depression, and a little bit of PTSD underneath, but that's mainly covered in the grief side of things, and it just, this book writes grief so, so beautifully. I read this in 2017, and then I read it again in 2019 when I was going through a stage of grief, and it spoke to me so much, and this will always be one of my favorite books. And the second book I have selected is, to absolutely no one's surprise, Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. Honestly, a good thing to ask is, what doesn't this book cover? But for the sake of this video, we're just going to talk about the main thing that I related to. The anxiety rep in this book is absolutely phenomenal, and I will always be grateful to Alice Oseman to how she handled all the subject matters in her books, but especially this one with such delicacy and such care. Like, it didn't feel like she was leaning on tropes or anything. It was just so beautifully written and so well done. So, Alice, if you are seeing this for some unknown reason, thank you for this book, and thank you for the care that you took when you were writing your characters and your plotline and just this entire story. Thank you. So, if you have seen the show and love it as much as I do, you know my confusion when I saw this particular episode in season 2. It was definitely the most divisive episode, and it was a little bit strange, but it definitely was fun when I was coming up for prompts and I was like, I need something that's a little bit strange, and then I remembered this episode, so A Night Alone with Beard. You know where I'm going if you've seen the show. Name a book that was so bizarre that once you finished it, you weren't sure if it was actually a dream or not. And for this, I have selected The Light in the Window by June Golding. This was so strange. It could have honestly gone in the goldfish prompt, but I do remember more of this than I remember of Gentleman's Guide. So it's non-fiction. I think that's why I found it so bizarre. I found it so strange that like this happened in real life. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it was just wow. And the last prompt for this tag is believe. Believe is based around the entire premise of the show. Up on the wall of the club, like in their locker room, there's a massive sign that says believe, and it's quite poignant, especially throughout the second season. And it's actually the background on my phone, so I look at it every day. And this prompt is name an author that you have always stuck by. And for this, I knew straight away. I knew before I even created the tag what this was going to be, because I have to talk about him in pretty much every video. And that is Marcus Zusak. I've only got the Book Thief with me, but I was probably also one of the only people that loved Bridge of Clay. Everyone else seemed to hate it. I think it was because they were comparing it to this absolute masterpiece. But I also really loved Bridge of Clay. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I honestly had so much putting it all together and just seeing my vision of a Ted Lasso book tag coming to life. Please feel free to use the tag. All the questions are linked in the description written in the description down below. And make sure to tag me in it. I want to see what you guys' interpretation of this tag is, and I want to see it come to life and take over BookTube. I'm just kidding. I know that won't happen, but make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye!